In the ever-evolving chessboard of global geopolitics, Azerbaijan has quietly made a move that is now attracting international attention. Following its landmark decision to purchase JF-17 Thunder fighter jets from Pakistan earlier this year, reports have emerged suggesting that Baku has transferred its aging MiG-29 fighters to Ukraine, which remains embroiled in its grinding war with Russia. This twofold strategy, upgrading its own air fleet while simultaneously bolstering Ukraine's embattled air force, marks a dramatic shift in Azerbaijan's military and diplomatic positioning, one that intertwines regional defense imperatives with the global power struggle between Moscow and the West. A dual military track, modernization and support. For years, Azerbaijan relied on its Soviet-era MiG-29 fleet as a backbone of its air power. These aircraft, purchased in the early 2000s from Ukraine and Belarus, were part of Azerbaijan's post-Soviet effort to rebuild its air force after the collapse of the USSR. The MiG-29 provided speed, agility, and sufficient firepower to meet Baku's defense needs during an era when Armenia, its primary regional rival, remained similarly dependent on Soviet aircraft. But as global military technology advanced, the MiG-29 became increasingly obsolete and expensive to maintain. Spare parts were hard to come by, and modernization packages required either significant Russian cooperation or costly retrofitting. Enter the JF-17 Thunder. Produced jointly by Pakistan Aeronautical Complex (PAC) and China's Chengdu Aircraft Corporation (CAC), the JF-17 offered Azerbaijan a viable replacement, a cost-effective fourth-generation multi-role fighter equipped with active electronically scanned array (ESA), radar, beyond visual range missile (BVRAM) capability, and advanced avionics. The Block 3 variant, which Azerbaijan is reportedly acquiring, boasts upgrades such as helmet-mounted displays, electronic warfare suites, and compatibility with Chinese and Pakistani weapon systems. For Baku, this meant stepping away from reliance on Russia for upgrades while acquiring a platform that could operate effectively in the contested skies of the South Caucasus. The acquisition of JF-17s provided Azerbaijan with an opportunity. Once assured of modern replacements, it could repurpose or offload its MiG-29 fleet. Reports now indicate that these jets have been transferred to Ukraine, a move that simultaneously relieves Baku of outdated equipment and cements its reputation as a pragmatic player in global security politics. Why Ukraine needs the MiG-29? For Ukraine, the reported arrival of Azerbaijani MiG-29s could not come at a more crucial time. Since Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022, Ukraine has relied heavily on its dwindling fleet of Soviet-era aircraft, including MiG-29s and Su-27s. While Western nations have pledged advanced platforms like the F-16, the integration process is slow. Ukrainian pilots require months of training, maintenance crews need retraining, and the logistical chain for spare parts and weapons must be established. By contrast, additional MiG-29s can be integrated into Ukraine's air force immediately. Ukrainian pilots are already trained on the platform, existing infrastructure supports maintenance, and the aircraft can be armed with compatible munitions, including Western-supplied modifications that allow MiG-29s to fire US-made AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles. In this sense, Azerbaijan's reported transfer is not merely symbolic. It is operationally significant, giving Kyiv near-term breathing space while awaiting more advanced Western aircraft. Azerbaijan's calculated gamble. Azerbaijan's decision to supply Ukraine with fighter jets carries multiple geopolitical implications. Baku has long walked a delicate tightrope in its foreign policy. On one hand, it maintains strong economic and energy ties with Europe, serving as a key supplier of natural gas through the Southern Gas Corridor. On the other, it has historically maintained a cautious relationship with Russia, which has acted as both a mediator in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict and a supplier of arms. By transferring MiG-29s to Ukraine, Azerbaijan risks straining its relationship with Moscow, which views such actions as a direct threat to its military campaign. Russia has tolerated Azerbaijan's growing ties with Turkey and Pakistan, particularly in the defense sector, but open military assistance to Ukraine crosses into far more sensitive territory. Yet Baku may have calculated that the benefits outweigh the risks. The move deepens Azerbaijan's ties with NATO-aligned nations, particularly the United States and European states pushing for greater support to Ukraine. At the same time, by ridding itself of outdated jets and replacing them with modern JF-17s, Azerbaijan ensures that its own defense posture does not suffer. Pakistan's growing defense footprint. The entire development also shines a spotlight on Pakistan's growing role as an exporter of defense hardware. The JF-17 deal with Azerbaijan marks a milestone for Islamabad, which has long sought to expand the global footprint of its indigenous fighter program. While China has been the primary backer of the project, Pakistan's ability to co-produce and export the JF-17 gives it an increasingly influential role in the defense markets of Asia, Africa, and beyond. For Azerbaijan, choosing the JF-17 over Russian or Western alternatives reflects a broader trend. Smaller nations are increasingly turning to affordable, versatile platforms that avoid political complications. Russian aircraft are now tainted by sanctions and battlefield losses, while Western jets are costly and come with restrictions. The JF-17, by contrast, offers flexibility and independence, allowing Baku to field modern fighters without entangling itself in great power rivalries. Though paradoxically, its MiG-29 transfer has already thrust it into those very rivalries. Regional and global repercussions. The implications of Azerbaijan's reported move extend far beyond the Caucasus. Armenia, Azerbaijan's historic rival, will undoubtedly interpret the combination of JF-17 acquisitions and MiG-29 transfers as part of Baku's broader militarization strategy following its victory in the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh War and subsequent territorial gains in 2023. Yerevan, already seeking closer ties with Western powers after distancing itself from Russia, may push harder for military assistance of its own, further complicating the region's fragile balance. Meanwhile, Turkey, Azerbaijan's closest ally, is likely to quietly welcome the development. Ankara has been a key supporter of Ukraine, supplying Bayraktar TB2 drones early in the war and now considering deeper defense cooperation with Kiev. Azerbaijan's contribution of MiG-29s could be framed as part of a larger Turkish-led effort to support Ukraine while maintaining plausible deniability about direct state involvement. For Russia, the reports are troubling. Moscow has tolerated limited military assistance to Ukraine from former Soviet republics, but the transfer of combat aircraft by Azerbaijan could trigger a re-evaluation of its approach to Baku. While Russia is deeply tied down in Ukraine, it remains a dominant security player in the South Caucasus and could seek to pressure Azerbaijan economically or diplomatically. Globally, Azerbaijan's move adds to the growing mosaic of how non-NATO states are shaping the Ukraine conflict. From Morocco transferring T-72 tanks to South Korea supplying artillery shells, smaller and mid-tier nations are finding ways to contribute to Ukraine's war effort, often while simultaneously strengthening their own defense industries. Azerbaijan now appears to be joining this club of influential, albeit unconventional, players. A defining moment for Baku. If confirmed, the transfer of MiG-29s to Ukraine alongside the procurement of JF-17s will be remembered as a defining moment in Azerbaijan's defense and foreign policy. It represents a calculated gamble that may elevate Baku's standing among Western powers but at the cost of complicating its delicate relationship with Russia. More broadly, it reflects a shift in how smaller powers are navigating the 21st century security environment, leveraging arms deals not only for defense but also as instruments of diplomacy, influence, and strategic alignment. By simultaneously modernizing with Pakistani-Chinese technology and aiding Ukraine's resistance against Russia, Azerbaijan is signaling that it intends to play on a bigger stage. Whether this gamble pays off, or triggers blowback from Moscow, remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the quiet airfields of Baku are no longer just a regional story. They are now part of the global narrative of war, alliances, and the shifting balance of power.